we're back in Tom Rodriguez is confronting Claudia. He remembers what happened on Christmas Day. Remember, he got smashed over the back of the head from the 5 women, and he was nearly killed. The room seemed to close in on Claudia as Tom's words echoed in her mind, each syllable landing like a heavy blow. I remember what happened on Christmas Day. Claudia's heart pounding in her chest, her last breath coming in shallow, rapid gasps. She could see it in his eyes, the way they bore into her with a mix of anger, betrayal, and something darker, more dangerous. The moment she had dreaded since that fateful day had finally arrived. Tom took another step towards her, his expression unreadable, yet terrifying in its intensity. Claudia intensively backed away, her mind racing for an explanation, an excuse, anything to deflect the impending storm. Tom, she started, her voice trembling. I don't know what you think you remember, but don't lie to me, Claudia. He cut her off, his voice sharp and cold. I know what happened. I remember everything. Malone didn't attack me. Claudia's stomach dropped. There was no mistake the certainty in his voice. He knew about their confrontation, the broken bottle, the violence that had erupted that night. He knew that the terror in her eyes as she and the others tried to fend him off, tried to stop him from hurting anyone else. Tom's fists clenched at his side as he relived the flashes of memory, the sound of shattering glass, the searing pain, the panic as he was overpowered. He had tried to piece it together for months, but now the fog had lifted and it was all too clear. You all thought you could just sweep it under the rug, didn't you? Tom continued, his voice rising with every word. You thought I'd never remember, that I'd just move on like nothing happened. But I know, Claudia, I know what you did. Claudia's knees felt weak as she stumbled backward, her back hitting the wall. Tom, please, it wasn't supposed to happen like that, she pleaded, her voice desperate. We didn't have a choice, you were. I was what? He snapped, closing the distance between them in an instant. His face was inches from her eyes blazing with fury. Go on, his eyes blazing with fury. Go on, say it. I was out of control, right? I was dangerous. Claudia couldn't find the words. Everything she had feared was now staring at her in the face. She had hoped that in the passing months would make the memory fade, that Tom would never piece together the full truth, but now there was no escape. Tom's voice drew up to a deadly whisper. You attacked me, Claudia. You and those other women, Clara, Evie, Shelby, Jill. You all ganged up on me. You tried to take me down. Tears welled up in Claudia's eyes as she shook her head, her voice choked with emotion. We were trying to protect ourselves, Tom. You left us no choice. Tom's jaw tightened as he fought to contain his rage. He had always known there was more to that night than he could remember. But now hearing it from Claudia, it was like a dam had burst inside him. The betrayal, the pain, the humiliation, it all came rushing back with a force he couldn't control. I trusted you, he spat, his voice shaking with anger. And this is how you repay me? By trying to destroy me? Claudia's tears spilled as she reached out, trying to touch his arm to calm him down. Tom, please. We didn't want to hurt you. You were just trying to. Tom jerked away from her touch, his eyes cold and unforgiving. You didn't want to hurt me? Well, you did. You all did. And now you're going to pay for it. Oh, fudge. Claudia's breath hitched in her throat, the finality of his words hitting like a punch in the gut. The man standing before her wasn't just angry, he was vengeful, and he wasn't going to let this go. Tom, she whispered, her voice barely audible. What are you going to do? Tom didn't answer immediately. Instead, he leaned in close, his eyes narrowing as he delivered his final words with chilling calmness. You'll find out soon enough. The silence that followed was suffocating, the weight of his foot hanging in the air between them. Claudia could only watch in helpless terror as Tom turned and walked out of the room, leaving her alone in the horrifying realization that the nightmare they had tried to bury was far from over. To be continued.